Hey guys, welcome to a new video. If you're new here, I want to say thank you for clicking on this video and welcome to my channel. To my subscribers, I want to say hello. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And you can also follow me on my social media, on my Instagram and my TikTok. So on today's video, you're going to see some of my favorite Halloween DIYs. I am also adding in a home tour of last year and some other little goodies. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please stick around for a lot more Halloween content. Alright, so today I'm going to be showing you how I made these skull candle holders. I've had 2 candle holders from the Dollar Tree, and then I picked up these black velvet skulls. They also came from the Dollar Tree. What I did was I made a hole in the bottom of the skull in order to go ahead and push that candle holder through. I wanted it to slide right inwards. I knew that I wasn't going to be using the top part of the candle holder, so that was fine to go into the skull. All I did was put a little bit of hot glue and some E6000 and let that dry up. So while that was drying, I went ahead and I had these 2 candlesticks. They're the ones that are battery operated. Picked those up at the Dollar Tree. And I went in with my hot glue and I started to make it have some drip effect. I did both of them like that. Once those were dry, I went in with some black chalk paint and I gave them a couple coats of that. So my candles, I went ahead and I just stuck them to the top part of the skulls with some hot glue. I went ahead and I painted the flame part because these were kind of a white light and I didn't like the way that looked. It looked too bright. So what I did was some orange. I just painted the flame part and that was that. So in order to make this look like it was dripping, I did the same technique as I did with the candle, and I just went around the whole stand and I just made it look like it was dripping. That also covered up that little circle piece that I stuck the candle on. With some black chalk paint, I went ahead and I did paint the drips. I went in with some white paint and I just gave this a deeper effect. Just wanted it to look a little more spookier, and I think that made the drips pop a little bit more. So from a flower pick that I had, I just went ahead and I pulled these off and I glued those on to the front of the candle. Also glued on some spiders. As always, I want to say thank you for watching. On today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I made these light up fabric ghosts. So if you're interested in that, please stick around. Alright, so I had 2 of these foam cones and 2 of these foam balls. Then I had a pack of these wood rounds. What I did was I cut down a little bit, about ½ an inch of the cone, and I stuck that to the wood round. I did use a little bit of E6000 and some hot glue just to make sure that it stayed on. For that foam ball, I went ahead and got some hot glue and I stuck it down to the cone. So I had this white fabric laying around. What I did was I placed it over my structure, and then I went ahead, just measured, eyeballed kind of what I thought the length should be. I grabbed some scissors and then I just went ahead and just trimmed the edges. So I had these mini lights that I picked up from the Dollar Tree last year. What I did was I placed a little bit of tape behind the battery pack, and then I glued that to the foam. Once that was dried, I wrapped the lights around the cone all the way to the top. I then went in with my iron and I started ironing out any wrinkles that the fabric had. I also started folding my fabric into triangles, and then I started creasing that with the iron. As you're going to see in a couple of seconds, the reason why I did this was so when my fabric lays over my foam, it has more of a creased effect. I then went ahead and ironed out that crease in the middle, and then I placed this over my structure. I then went in on my Cricut machine and I started looking for templates of Ghostface, but however I couldn't find any, so I decided to do my own. To secure the fabric to the foam, I just put a little dab of hot glue and I let that dry. I did 3 different designs of faces on my Cricut, however I'm only going to be needing 2, so I picked the 2 that I wanted. This is not iron-on vinyl, this is just regular permanent vinyl. I just went ahead and I placed what I thought looked best, and that's what I stuck. When I was done, I really wasn't feeling the way that it looked, so what I did was, with a little dab of hot glue, I just went ahead and I started gluing the tips of the fabric, however they laid onto my wood round, and as you can see at the end, it looked so much better. As always, I want to say thank you for watching. So today we're going to be doing this spooky rotten apple. I'm not really sure what I'm going to call it, but yeah. So starting off, I have a fake green apple. I took my puff paint and I started to draw on the face. I did the eyes, the nose, and then I also went ahead and then I made the drip marks around the apple. So I had this stand from another DIY that had some glue on it, I took out as much as I can around the edges, but then I just knew that that was going to be covered up, so I went in with some black chalk paint and I gave that a couple coats of black. So I needed something to sit my apple on because I am going to be wrapping some lights around it. I just had a wooden block that I also painted black. So after about an hour, I let my puff paint dry. Then I went ahead with some black chalk paint and I started filling in the apple. I was gonna just do the whole thing in the puff paint, but I just decided that this will be easier and faster. So from last year, I picked up these cloches or domes, whichever one you want to call it, from the Dollar Spot and Target. So I'm going to be placing the bottom down with some hot glue, and then I'm going to take that wooden block that I painted black. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down too. I have these green lights that I bought for something else, but this is an extra one. So what I did was I glued the battery pack to the bottom of the stand, and then I went ahead and I wrapped those lights around the wooden block. So once my apple dried, I just took a dab of hot glue and I glued that onto the wooden block. So I have so much of this brown moss that I have from the Dollar Tree. What I did was I took pieces of that and then I just stuck them around the wooden block just to cover up the lights. Once that was dry, I went ahead and I put the lid on and I secured that into place. So I have these skeleton hands that were given to me. Not sure where they're from, but they're kind of like thick and heavy. I just started with some hot glue and I started gluing them down to the base where it would look like these hands are holding the cloche. Just with a little bit of hot glue, I stuck that, and in total I did 4 hands. So once I had my hands glued down, I went ahead with some black paint, just lightly brushed it just to give it some more details on the skeleton hands. With my Cricut, I printed out the words "take a bite," and I'm going to be applying that to the front of the cloche. Next, I grabbed some painter's tape. What I did was I lined that up just to make it even around the whole top part of the cloche. Once I had it positioned to where it was completely even around all sizes, I went ahead with some black paint and I gave 2 coats to the top. So once my paint dried, I peeled off my tape. I did cover the words in some parchment paper, as you can see here, just so they won't come up when I peel the tape. Once that was done, I just cleaned up the edges a little bit and then I placed my lid back on my cloche. And that's it. This is our finished product. Tell me what you think. On today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I decorated for Halloween. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are motivated to go out and decorate. And I hope you hit that subscribe button because I have much more content coming up. Before Christmas stacked pumpkins that I picked up at the dollar store. So I was doing this as a gift to a coworker who loves Nightmare Before Christmas. So here in Miami, we are finally getting the plus section at our Dollar Trees, which is where I picked up these stacked pumpkins that were $5. I also picked some of these up last year at Five Below. So what I did was I got on my Cricut and I got a cutout of Jack and Sally. And what I did was I went ahead and I printed that out. I sized it up. I knew which ones I wanted to place where. The Jack I was going to place on the bottom bigger pumpkin. Sally would be in the middle. And then I was originally going to put the Nightmare Before Christmas sticker on the top part, but you'll see later on what I did with that. So what I did was I gave my pumpkins a couple coats of white. To be honest with you, this was one of the hardest and longest DIYs I've done. It took me about 2 days. The paint, it really wasn't sticking. It took a couple coats for it to actually go on. What I did was I put a layer and then I sprayed it with some clear spray paint just to hold the paint in. Then I kept giving it a couple coats. I did that, to be honest with you, maybe about 5 different coats. Then the next day is when I started doing everything. So I spent maybe 2-3 hours just painting the pumpkins. For the Sally part, I picked up this teal paint at the Dollar Tree, and right over that white I went ahead and I started giving it a couple coats. So these are my pumpkins once they were dried and sprayed with that clear coating of spray paint. For the bottom piece, I just had this mirror. I painted it black. It's thin, so I just wanted a base that I can stack my pumpkins on once I'm ready to glue them down. For the top pumpkin, I just went on my Cricut and I printed out this little picture from, I guess it's a scene from the movie. I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never seen the movie. And I placed that on the top part of my pumpkin. Then it was time to place the faces on the pumpkins. To be honest with you, again, this was one of the hardest things. I originally did the face on a pumpkin, tried peeling it off. It took the paint completely off, so I had to give it more coats of paint. So for the eyes, I printed out the eyes from my Cricut and then I stuck them onto the pumpkin. As you're gonna see, it really wasn't that easy to do. I tried lining them up as best as I could. When I went ahead and stuck them down, as you can see, there was a couple creases that I just tried pushing through with my finger. And so yeah, that was the eyes. And then the mouth, Once I put that vinyl on, I got some red paint and I painted the lips. Also, I printed out some stitches that I'm going to be placing where she has these stitches on her face. Again, that was done through the Cricut machine. Alright, when it came down to Jack, I originally printed out some stickers for another face. I once again went to peel that off. It took the paint off and I had to repaint everything. So I went ahead and I printed out this facial expression, which I think looks so much better. This one was a little more easier to apply. To stick the top two pumpkins together, I grabbed a little bit of E6000, placed that around the rim of the pumpkin, and then I stuck them together. Again, with the E6000, I placed some on the bottom of the first pumpkin and then I stuck that to our base. And then the other two pumpkins that were on top, I just clipped them together because these pumpkins do clip together. So early on in the video, when you seen I was on my Cricut, I printed out the Nightmare Before Christmas logo. I put that on a piece of wood, painted it black, and then I stuck that down. So then I'm here with some Spanish moss and I'm just gluing that down to the base. And what I did was I placed that around the whole bottom of the first pumpkin. And then here we have our finished product. I think this came out amazing. It's beautiful. My coworker really enjoyed it. If you guys want to go ahead and recreate these pumpkins, remember it's not that easy, but if I can do it, you can do it.